Welcome back, and man, is it a beautiful day today. Great sunshine. It's probably 60, and we're going to work on that today. That's White Lightning. We got some new goodies for it that we're going to get installed. They came those boxes there, so moving some cars out for right now. Got the El Camino out. Mom's Camaro, and of course we finished her Yukon. So we're gonna work on White Lightning today. Stick around and let's see what's in those boxes. That was loud and obnoxious. And what we're trying to do is make it not so obnoxious and sound like a bubble factory. Because, well, right now, it's just manifolds. All right, so we've got it open. Got some headers. Again. Mufflers. Some piping. And some more piping. This truck has not had an exhaust system on it since I did the cam swap, I think, and the cam swap and the headwork and stuff back in 2019. It did have long tubes on it, open for a little while, sold those because we were going to go turbo, and just sold the turbo stuff because we're going to change a little bit of direction on this. So today we're going to put an exhaust system on it, and hopefully it's all good. And hopefully it's as fairly simple as, well, as it should be, since it's designed for this vehicle. We're about to find out though. Let's see. We've pulled the wheels off. We're gonna pull the wheel liner out to make it easier to get to the manifold and the headers. Already got this wheel off and the wheel liner out down there. Hello, Rocky. So you can see it'll make getting here way easier, and probably assist with connecting that. So that's where we're at now. So far, no headaches yet, but we're just getting started. The day is young and anything could happen. Let's keep moving forward. Thing we have really over here that maybe in any way would be the steering shaft. But I don't remember it being in the way. And also on the passenger side, we have the starter right there, which I haven't disconnected the battery. Maybe I ought to do that. It's just so I don't touch the hot wires. So, and the heater hose that I have looped because my heater core is leaking is kind of kinked. So we'll probably address that too while we're here. Not a bad idea. Okay, so we've got one manifold off. One more side to go. It's probably the easier side to do, but it's okay. Don't forget to pull the enginal dipstick tube out before you try to pull the manifold out, because it just won't come off. It's crazy. Let's go to the other side. So we got the driver's side one off. No issues with the steering shaft, except instead of it coming out this way like the passenger side did, it just goes straight down. And over here I had the stud in the rear and a stud in the front one, but of course the whole stud came out, no big deal. Originally it was set up the same way on the passenger side. Maybe last time or when I did the heads or whatnot, they were broke, and instead of going back with a stud and a nut, I just put bolts on the other side. I don't remember, but there wasn't studs on the other side. So now that we got this part, or got this off, we'll show some headers up there. Got one side header. I figured I'd do this side first because it was probably going to be the harder side. So to get the header on, I did separate the steering shaft right here. Took this 15 out, pushed the shaft up, which allowed that to move over. I also took out the brake booster vacuum hose, and this one, even though the manifold went down to come out, I couldn't get the header to slide up that way. Maybe you can, I don't know. It wouldn't do it for me, so I slid it down from the top in, and it's in. So there's one. Let's go to the other side. Well, when there is absolutely no rubber left in the motor mount, the other side's got some, which you can see in between the cobwebs, and you can kind of see how it's spaced up. This side over here, not so much, just some cobwebs and no rubber. What that actually effectively allows to not happen is allows your header on the passenger side to not line up with the holes without hitting the frame, because well, the engine's sitting so far down that there's not enough room. I also, maybe if the mount wasn't so bad, to pull the trans cooler lines out, which I did. I just had them sitting back in there, but I pulled them off the transmission, which they're held in there with those shit clips, and got the header to go in, but the mount's bad. And I knew the mount was bad. The last time I drove it, you put it in reverse, gave it gas, and there was a big old clunk, so I just didn't think it was that bad. Off to the parts store we go to get motor mounts. We'll be back. So we've made it back from the parts store, and some super duper motor mounts. Good old O'Reilly's store brand. It's alright. It don't matter if you bought Delco ones, they're all gonna break anyhow. And it hadn't had an oil change in like, I don't know, probably since 2019. So I got an oil filter, some oil, and got a new pinion seal, output shaft seal for the transmission, because, well, I've been knowing for a while that that's been leaking. That bad boy there. Yep, you can see all that fluid. So I figured if I'm at the parts store buying some stuff, I might as well get a few things that I know is 100% necessarily needed. So we'll do the mounts and oil change and the transmission output shaft seal as well. Okay, let's start doing the motor mounts. Alright, got the passenger side mount out, and yep, like I was saying, there's nothing in there. Nobody's home. Should be a pretty significant piece of metal, rubber between there. Kind of like this. Yep, you can definitely see the big rubber in there. And these still have the heat shields on them, which I'll probably take them off. I don't know, we'll see. That gets in the way of trying to get to these bolts, and they may help prolong the rubber in there. They may not. I know I've replaced these before. These are not the original ones, but yeah, wow. No bueno pacaca. All right, let's shove this one back in here on this, and we'll move on to the next one. This side, the driver's, still has its rubber in place, but that doesn't mean nothing. We're here, we're doing it, we're gonna replace it too. That way both of them are the same age, which both of them before were the same age. Let's get it done. All right, LJ pro tip. If installing headers on a vehicle, it may be easier to get them in if the motor mounts are not completely toast. The reason why I say that, well, because this one slides right in from the bottom without having to take the trans cooler lines loose or any of that other jazz. Probably the other side would have worked had the motor bent up where it was supposed to be. Imagine that. So there you go. Make sure the mounts are good. Make sure they're not collapsed. Make sure they have some kind of rubber holding the engine up. It'll help you in your installation. So, got both the mounts in, passenger side, driver's side. Driver's side header is installed. Passenger side is laying there right now, so I can lower the truck, set the gasket, and bolt it in. And of course, guys, if you don't have a lift or this nice pole jack to use with a lift, you can still do that on the ground with a jack and jack stands. All I did was lift one side of the motor, do one mount, lift the other side of the motor, and do that mount. Don't do them at the same time. It's probably not going to work too well for you. All right, back to the exhaust. Now we're going to pull the drive shaft off. These 11mm bolts on the straps for the U-joints. We'll just slide it out so we can get to that seal. Also, it appears that this will pass through here, connects there, and then it has that drop down that's gonna come underneath the pan, and then there's another elbow that'll tuck into this header, which I'm gonna go ahead and use the pole jack again on the transmission so I can drop that cross member, which will make putting the pipe in easier. So way easier with the lift, but I still don't see how you couldn't do this on the ground. It would just suck a little more. But we're gonna continue taking these 11mm out and the strap, get this drive shaft out, get that pinion seal, and then we'll move to pulling the transmission cross member. Alright, so we've got the out of the way, and we're going to use our seal puller and come in here and pull this seal out. Bear with me. Ta-da! And wouldn't you know, this time I actually have a bucket underneath, which allowed me to not make a mess on the floor, unlike my son and my wife did. Here's a new seal. Yeah. Well, and of course, I need to replace this as well, the bushing that goes in here that the drive shaft rides on that sits inside there. As well, I've replaced that trans tail seal, I'm pretty sure, at least twice, and it still leaks, and probably because I haven't replaced this, which keeps the drive shaft from going up and down a whole bunch and wearing out that seal. So looks like with any project you do, there's more. So now we're going to pull off the whole extension housing so we can drive that bushing out from the inside. And exciting. Okay, so we got all the bolts out, kind of sprayed it off with brake parts cleaner, got the cross member out, pole jack's back on it again. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts out. Speed sensor unplugged. So let's slide this off. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Only bad part is I need to go get one of these seals. Maybe. This actually still looks pretty good. It's not horrible, so we may get away with that. So, and I also have a bucket down here catching all that fluid that's dripping. So far, I'm doing fairly good without making a huge mess. All right, so here's the tail shaft housing, and let's see. Down there, yep, is the sleeve that we're gonna knock out. And we'll probably just use a long flathead chisel, and we'll get right on the edge of it and smack it on out of there. Good thing we have a vise. Now let's go put this in the vise. Okay, wasn't very pretty because, you know, I don't own specialty tools for doing that. So, but old one's out, new one's in, and it's a little dirty. We'll go ahead and hit this with some brake cleaner, get it cleaned up, and we'll get it reinstalled. New seal, new bushing, which you can't see it in there now. Tail housing back on. Of course, it looks like caca. That's because the paint that was on it before, it's coming off. Anyhow, all right. Now let's continue putting this stuff up here, connecting these two together. Yeah. Now can we get back to what we were originally starting on this truck today? Well, hopefully. Let's get it. Here's my helpers trying to come in the shop. Yep, you're dirty. You need a bath. Okay, so it is now nighttime. The beautiful day has turned into a decent night, and we are wrapping up. So we've got new mounts on there, new motor mounts. Those weren't expected, but they're there. And we change the oil. Just drain it, gotta fill it, but got the headers on both sides. Crossover pipe. To little X pipe. Yep. Some Speed Engineering bullet mufflers and axle dump. So that's what it looks like. We'll lower it down. We'll put some plug wires on it, which we got some of their plug wires because they're supposed to go with their headers. I don't know. They don't really look much different than the factory ones, but hopefully they fit better than the factory ones, I guess, for the headers. Let's get this thing lowered, get some oil in it, and let's fire it up and see what it sounds like.